And welcome back to the start of a brand new What If in the whole echelon and history of the What Ifs we do. And we'll continue to do them until I decide to stop, which may be never. And this one comes to us from, at least from all the people I could find suggested, the VRs, Michael Degger, and CJM. You asked the question, and it is an interesting question, because it does change a bit, especially late term, near the end. What if Neji had actually killed Hinata in the tuning exams? And this is, you'll forgive me that my face is up here. It should be down here. I just finished pre-recording the Lanticore for yesterday. But yeah, that does change a bit, doesn't it? Hinata not being there, means obviously Naruto can't end up with Hinata unless for some reason he decides to, dabble into necromancy, or Edo Tensei's her for one reason or another. Even then, that's gross. But no, obviously she's not going to be around after the tuning exam. But how would this really impact the story? Well, let's go from my opinion. And yes, this is a multi-parter, but let's just get it started. So obviously, we would have to start off, and what I do like about topics like this is that I don't have to start all the way from the beginning, and we don't get these monster-length series. Like this one might be like 10 parts, which is still long, but short compared to other things. Where we basically cut to, the whole fight with Neji and Hinata. And I think the fight actually ends the way it ends, where Neji comments about how he's struggling. He goes to attack her, goes in basically for the kill. He's stopped, but she collapses. And, she looks at Naruto and says, "Naruto, you think I'll be able to change even for a minute, even a little bit?" And then she passes out. And they're about to bring her in, but they realize that she's, remember, they're medics. If she stops breathing, they have to do CPR right there. They got to get her heart started ASAP. And, we got to get her. She stopped breathing. Then they start, doing the chest compressions and all that, medical chakra. And everyone's standing there. And Naruto was looking, I was like, Hinata. Everyone's shocked. Sakura's just, and are both aghast. Even Tamari is, and Kakuro is, cold as they are, kind of. They're like, that was way too much. Everyone's looking at this. Guy is furious, with Neji, but he's focusing on Hinata at them. Everyone's focusing on Hinata. Lee can't believe what Neji just did. And, everything they're trying, they just ultimately say, they just look at Kurenai and just say, "Man, I'm sorry, but she's gone. Nothing we're going to be able to do is bring her back." And then that's that shock. You get that moment where you get that black screen and Naruto's eyes just wide shut, and everyone's just Hinata's dead. She's dead. And, and Sarutobi's Unfortunately, Neji, while he did kill her, he technically didn't do anything illegal. She died as a result of the battle, yes, but he didn't get he didn't hit her when the match was over. He was stopped beforehand. And sorry, I'm just taking my socks off. The match was stopped before he got out of hand. So he's perfectly in the clear, although he is the one who ultimately killed her. And Naruto's just kind of, looking at it, and Naruto's no, she's got to prove more to everyone. She's going to be a great ninja. Wait, and Kurenai's just, all our years of training's kicking in, because right now she just wants to just sob over her. But she's like, Naruto, no, she knows it. Hinata. And Naruto here is experiencing something different than when he experienced in the original. In the original, he's just gonna, he's just I will beat her. I will beat you. I promise. He takes her blood and says that he will beat Neji. Here, there's a little bit of it. His chakra can't emerge. The Fox chakra can't emerge right now due to the fact that obviously he's got the seal on him at that time. But his anger is rising. He still does it again. It's more like, I swear I'll beat you. I swear I'll beat you. And Naruto's feeling guilt because he's also aware he's the one who kept cheering Hinata on. He's the one who's like, "Don't you call this match yet? Not even. Come on, yeah." It's Everyone was cheering on, but he's the one he's probably was the only one who was actually opting to keep the match going. And he's feeling guilt over that. Like, maybe if he had just told her, it's okay, Hinata, that was enough. You did everything you could. It's fine. She'd still be alive. He's got those thoughts in his head. What if I had said no? It's okay. No, you're not. What if I told her she had done more than she ever could have done? It's like you were amazing. What if? Yeah, see what I did? Oh, but what if? And now he's racked with that. He's racked again. Kakashi can see it on his face. He can see he's blaming himself, and he has to say, "It's not your fault, Naruto." So but Naruto's really not hearing it. All the matches go the same, although Tenten and Guy and Rock Lee are very much now very cold to Neji for that. And Neji can even feel the looks on him, but he just doesn't give a rat's ass. We are going to get to Neji later, and I'm pretty sure it'll be in this part. It'll be right around the fight with Naruto and after the fight. Why Neji is so indifferent to the fact that Hinata just died. Like they said, Hinata died. And he just doesn't seem to be reacting. Like, yeah, maybe he was angry, but he just killed her. Why? Like, the fact that he's just treating this indifferently, like, what? And so, Sarge's like, someone will have to tell Yashi. It's like, Guy's like, I'll do it. He's my student, Lord Okage. It's my responsibility. Very well, then. And so all the matches are called. Obviously, Neji and Naruto are squared off, and, and they're ready. He wants to go on, but no. Kakashi, this version of Naruto would be even more pissed that Kakashi's going to train Sasuke because obviously he really wants to take Neji down. He wanted to take Neji down before, but here, this is the man that killed a classmate, someone he could have considered a friend. I mean, honestly, he never hated Hinata. That's a very strong thing that's the thing we have to really put into perspective here. Honestly, he doesn't really hate any of his classmates. But he recognized that Hinata was actually, the few times she actually spoke to him, was actually very nice, even though weird, as he put it. And, she was very nice, and, she didn't look at him like a monster or anything. She liked him, and he liked her for that. And Kakashi, before talking about it, he says, like, I know what you're, believe me, I've blamed myself for many folks, or many friends dying, Naruto, but you can't let it control you. You have to control it. Use it to get stronger over this period, Naruto. And don't worry, I found you a new trainer. Now, don't get me wrong, Naruto is, determined, angry, but he is still Naruto, so he still reacts in many ways the same way he would react in the actual story. So the whole Ebisu thing goes down the same, although he is putting more effort into, training. Then obviously Jiraiya comes in, knocks out Ebisu. And he just knocked out my trainer. And yeah, and obviously, ultimately, Jiraiya agrees to train Naruto. Now, one of the big things I feel is different here is that Naruto does explain. Jiraiya asks, "Why are you so uptight about this trade?" He's like, "I have to beat this guy." It's Neji, Hyuga. Like, yeah, he killed a friend of mine. It's like, and Jiraiya actually does go, son. Yeah, the word's passing around the village that the Hyuga heiress was killed. Harris was killed. I'm sorry. Was she a friend of yours? And Naruto, again, he's a little quiet. She was a classmate. I think we could have been friends one day. And it's like, and let me guess, you're blaming yourself for what happened. And Naruto's like, I kept cheering her on. If I just told her not to, like, you would. Kid, from little I've heard about this, it seems that she would have kept going no matter what. It seems you two share a lot in common. That fire and that will, the will of fire, that fire and that will, the will of fire that all Leaf Village ninjas should inherit and go by. Sounds to me she's still died. While she died young, she died the ninja she wanted to be. The question is, kid, what ninja do you want to be? And Naruto's just looking down. He's like, I'm gonna be the one to avenge her, no matter what. I'm going to bring that bastard down. He's got your fire. He's got man, he really is the perfect blend of you two. The Kushina's fire, and that determination that you had, Minato. All right, kid. And then basically they're talking about he releases the seal and all that, and they get going into the summoning jutsu training. Now, there is going to be a big difference in this training, believe it or not, I think, than what we had in the original. But let's quickly move over to what's going on with Neji, because this is actually very important. He gets punished pretty hard for killing the main household's daughter. Take out the whole family relationship. Like his cousin, he just killed the other. No. If you're looking about the political structure of the Hyuga clan, he just killed the heiress to the Hyuga clan. Well, he's not gonna, but it was legally in a legally sanctioned fight where he didn't get the final kill shot afterwards. She wouldn't back down. And, they've come as just when she was starting to finally show some backbone. You had to go and kill her. And kill her. The elders are probably pissed off about it. And Hiashi finally steps in and that's enough. She was my daughter. Whether or not, no matter how I treated her, nothing will change that. His punishment will be on my shoulders. Do you understand that? And he just gives them all a glare. And he's very well, Hiashi. And now leave us. And, he looks down on him and just is it's a shame what happened, but it was fate, no matter what. And fate, no matter what. It's you do believe that, don't you? And then he does use the cage bird seal, and Neji's ah! And Hashi's finally, and then Neji's nearly passed out, and he just looks at him, and he ultimately does love his daughter, clearly, especially by we see Shippuden. He loves his family. He's just very strict because of the position he's in as the head of the clan and stuff like that. And yeah, he treated her like crap, admittedly, and their youth, but still. And he just looks at Neji, and this isn't the time. He knows this isn't the time, and he's pissed right now. He's beyond angry. After all, his daughter was killed by this other member of his household. But he just looks and look, trust me when I say this, young Neji. This isn't the time or place for me to explain it, but you know nothing of fate. And Neji's what does that mean? What does that mean? And he leaves. And Neji's training, unfortunately, doesn't go as well. Because I don't know I can't remember if it was in the manga, there was a panel for this or not, or a few panels. But in the anime, we know Tenten was helping Neji by throwing, lots of blades so he could protect the rotation. Tenten and Mike Guy ain't giving him the time of day right now. No one, frankly, is. At least no one in his age group is. And even the adults are cordial with him. If he asks a question, he'll answer, but they're not helping him. He's a pariah right now. And he's just whatever. Fate deems that I will be able to improve no matter what. And he basically kind of like how Sasuke jury rigs that a little obstacle course with the kunai and stuff like that so he can avoid and train. He does the same thing. He just has to reset it every time. So while he does get the rotation, it's not a perfected rotation. But moving back to Naruto, the reason I feel this is going to be different is because Naruto's motivation means that his attitude isn't this isn't like the canon where Hinata was just hurt, but she ultimately lived, and he was okay. He was very determined. No, he's got the motivation and still the guilt, no matter what. He's going to feel a little guilty for it, and the anger of her dying, and that anger is what allows him initially to tap into the Fox's chakra, and he taps in, and he taps into that the Fox form he had against Haku and against Sasuke later on, and against Kimimaro. It's oh, well, are you okay? It's well, it seems you succeeded after all, kid. It's something's coming to my mistake. Just, Jiraiya, what am I doing here? Oh, whoa, I didn't think you'd summon Buddha so fast. Holy crap. And Naruto's whoa. And then, Gamabunta basically has to give him the test. But because he's still got some Fox chakra in him, he's actually able to hold on with it thanks to some, chakra restraints, and ultimately it works out fine. But Jiraiya's he did it on let's just say it's day 3. He did it on day 3. Holy crap. Well, this changes things up a little bit. And, well, now that you got that down, kid, let's just fine tune it. And Naruto just starts practicing. He also eventually has the conversation with the Fox, having, tapped into the chakra a couple times, and probably passing out afterward, just like he did in the original. Has the conversation with the Fox, can access the chakra if he needs it. But now he's practicing with the summoning jutsu. Well, that was a bad motion. Oh, no, actually, you couldn't even see the motion. Although we can see my hands. I was ooh. The once I was because I was doing the summoning jutsu thing, but I'm well, that looked weird. But he's practicing with the summoning jutsu with his own chakra. I imagine he can eventually summon Gamma and still have a little chakra left over. Still very taxing, but I think he can do it. With the Foxy chakra, he can go through pretty much any of the toes. But Jiraiya realizes there's still a lot of time here. And he's just thinking, I was like, he's like, Naruto's got like 3 weeks left. And he just thinks on it, it's just, hey kid, come over here. I wasn't really planning on teaching you this right at this point, but here, catch. And, he hands him a water balloon. And you can obviously see where this goes. Like, what is this? This is the first step to learning a really great technique. The summoning jutsu is going to be great, especially for your chakra control and if you need help. But if what you're saying is true, you're going up against Neji, you're going to need something more. And Naruto points out, yeah, I think I need to work on my hand-to-hand combat too. Why? Well, that wasn't what I was initially thinking, but why would you need to do that? He's a Hyuga after all. And Naruto actually makes a very valid point. It's like, look, no matter what, if it comes down to hand-to-hand combat, which he specializes in, and it very well might likely come down to that at some point, I can only keep him at distance for so long, and I have no range jutsu. I've got to learn to fight a little bit better in terms of hand-to-hand combat. Jiraiya's actually like, all right, tell you what we'll do. Make a couple clones there. When he makes his own Shadow clone, my Shadow clone will help teach you guys, teach your clones a couple new forms. It's like, oh, sweet. And Naruto's not even aware that the clones he'll retain that information from the clones. Meanwhile, we'll work on this. Well, what's this? And he shows off the Rasengan. I was like, holy crap! It's like, yep, pretty good, huh? This was actually created by the 4th Hokage himself. Took him 3 years to create it, and took me even a year to create it. It's like, oh, I only got 3 weeks. But I'll get it done no matter what. I'm going to beat that Neji. It's like, good luck, Brad. So the first step is to break this water balloon. And so Naruto's trying. And his chakra control is a little bit better than it is in the canon at this point. He's had a lot of time practicing, but it's still not enough to break it without a single hand. But Naruto's just like, darn it. And then Naruto's just like, I wonder. And then he just, hey, Fox, doesn't have to be a lot, but just give me a bit and just give me a boost. And Naruto gets a boost from the Fox chakra. He tries it again, and this time, poof, it bursts in his hand. Whoa, awesome. And Naruto's like, okay, man, so that's what it feels like. Basically, what Naruto did was he used the advantage of the Fox's chakra, which would be a lot more intense, to basically give him the feel of what it would be like when the ball bursts. So now he knows what the ball feels like when it bursts. He can try to get to that feeling. And Naruto practices a bit more, and eventually just poof. And that's like the first. And now we're about halfway through the first the second week. And again, Jiraiya's like, I'll be damned. You finally, and he practices a bit more. Show me a couple more times. Just besides, practice makes perfect, and your chakra control it can always be improved, kid. And Naruto just pop, pop, pop. Meanwhile, the clones have all popped. Let's have a quick spar to test out what you've learned. And what Jiraiya's basically kind of been teaching him is basically, even though Sasuke is actually, believe it or not, knows the intercepting fist a little bit. That's kind of his taijutsu style with the Sharingan involved. I believe it's said that's his fighting style, at least his base fighting style. Naruto basically has been being taught kind of a drunken fist without the drunken fist. He's basically being taught a style that's a bit random and perfect for avoiding and counter striking. So Naruto's just kind of like swaying a little bit and just reacting a little bit, and then just boom, catch him with a cross or whatever. Obviously, it's still early. It's like, you seem to have a knack for this. You're pretty unpredictable audition. All right, make 5 more clones, and we'll work on the next one. And again, this time it's a ball. And Naruto's immediately like, oh, this is a lot harder. Oh yeah, this one's about power. You need a lot more power. Naruto again decides to use Kurama's chakra just a little bit, and he realizes it barely it bursts more than what we saw in the initial one, where it just gets a little hole in it. Then it goes. Poof, it doesn't explode like it should. It just even with the Fox's chakra, yeah, it's not that easy, huh? Though I must admit, it's actually clever to use that as a base to understand what it's like. And then Naruto spends the next, I'm going to say, week and a half trying to figure this one out. Ultimately, he does focus and blows up the rubber ball. And he's still only got one hand so far. So now Jiraiya is like, all right, this is the last one. It's like, what? We're back to the balloon again? Yep, but no water this time. And basically what Jiraiya tells him is about containing it now. And Naruto spends the remaining week practicing taijutsu, which he actually gets pretty good at. Jiraiya even says, you really have a knack for this style, kid. And trying to perfect the Rasengan. By the end of the Rasengan, or by the end of the week, he doesn't quite have the Rasengan yet. There are still streams of chakra coming off of his hand. Even by holding it with 2 hands, I still can't get it. But even if it's not complete, it still would be a pretty solid attack if he had to use it. Now, I did say we may be talking about Neji prior. And honestly, I think we can probably actually get the match out of the way. Naruto and Neji basically are ready to, duke it out. It's like, just give up. Fate has declared me the winner of this match. Just as declared it with me and Hinata. And Naruto's like, ugh. And him and Naruto immediately go toe to toe. However, Neji quickly notices that Naruto gets out of the way, and he actually almost gets clipped by Naruto with an uppercut. Just Neji's like, oh, what? Naruto pulls out a kunai, and now they kind of like going back and forth a little bit. Just Naruto's actually able to block a couple of Neji's strikes, but immediately he gets out of the way when he sees that Neji's about to hit him in the shoulder, and he does hit him just like he does before, but he also misses. Like, I missed? When did he get that confident at hand-to-hand combat? Even Sakura is like, whoa, he got good. Kiba's meanwhile is like, take that asshole down. He killed my teammate. I was like, take that asshole down, Naruto, yeah. And Tenten's even sitting by Kiba's like, look, even like, yeah, sorry, Neji, but I'm with Kiba. You're my teammate, but it was on you need to wake up. You need to realize it's not about you. And so their fight continues. Naruto sends out the clones. He takes them out. Sends out the other clones, tricks Neji, and again by being in the clones, not held in the back. And Neji does the rotation, but unfortunately it's still slightly imperfect, as is the 24 palm or the 64 palms. Naruto was flying back. But flying back, and just as he's about to get up, Neji's like, "You're within my space." And then Naruto quickly, tries to summon the Rasengan. 2 palms, 4 palms, 16 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, and he stops because he realizes he's struggling. And just ends at 32 palms. But Naruto's able to, and Neji was so focused he didn't even see the Rasengan. He barely just. And it does still graze him, even though it's not a perfect Rasengan. It still grinds him and just, what was that attack? And Naruto was like, is that what I think it is? Did Jiraiya really? And then Naruto's like, he has the conversation about why Neji's the way he is. And Naruto finally gets what happened. And he looks at him and actually looks at him straight and is like, yeah, so fate sucks. So what? Deal with it. It's like, you better give up now. And then finally Naruto activates the Fox's chakra. Just give me some chakra. And what is this chakra? Is it even chakra? And then get the music going. And finally Naruto just like throws the shurikens like, so you like close combat, huh? And finally he's got the Rasengan in his hand. And thanks to the Fox's chakra, which we did see this with his fight with Sasuke, he's able to contain it. Now, before anyone asks, yeah, basically he did perfect the Rasengan in the heat of the moment. It is with the Fox's aid, but I am just going to give him a perfected Rasengan at this point. He comes in and they clash, and rotation meets Rasengan, and they both clash. But one is finally perfected. We know what it means. A standard Rasengan is perfected, whereas his rotation isn't, and he's been weakened. Grinds in and eventually goes, and finally Neji goes down, and he walks over to Neji. It's like, well, are you gonna do it? Gonna avenge her? And Naruto finally looks down. Fox chakra face. I already did. Yeah, I already did. I beat you, fair and square. No matter what you say, no matter how you pride yourself as a prodigy. Talk about fate. Fate. I'm the one who won today. And again, he gives the whole, like, you don't have to be, he gives the whole spiel. It's like, yeah, I failed the Shadow Clone Jutsu multiple times, blah, blah, blah. Because you could do it too, because unlike me, you're now a loser. And, and he actually also adds, it's really sad that even now, no matter how much of a dick you are, I think I know Hinata would probably want me to forgive you. And maybe one day I will, but it's not today. So you live with that for now. Live with that right now. And Neji's just like, and, all of a sudden, Akash sharing, and Naruto's like, oh, yay! And he does feel a little weight on his shoulder as he almost swears he can see Hinata in the crowd. They're smiling and beaming at him for not only sparing him, but also saying, you know what? I beat you. I did what I had to do. I avenged her. And and she's, obviously, and he gives kind of a smile, and then she's gone. It's like, huh? He just kind of smiles and walks away. And, Neji and Hiyashi had the talk. And, he's finally And, he talks about, how his father actually basically defied his fate and that he could do it too. And Neji's contemplating this and realizes in his head that, maybe I could be something better to it. Like he says, Hinata, like she's still alive. And he realizes that Hinata's dead. Like what I was trying to get at the beginning is that he was so blinded, and this is in real life too. People do this. They put on the blinders all the time. He was so blinded by his own rage and anger and insecurities that what he had actually done did not process with him until that moment where he realized, I killed Hinata. Hinata is dead because of me. I did it. Her blood is on my hands. What would my father think? What would my mother think? Well, you don't even know anything about his mother. But what would my mother think? And just like, oh God. And it's like, and then all of a sudden, Yashi sees him breaking it. He's like, I killed Hinata. Yashi, I killed Hinata. Sorry. And he just breaks down there, and Yashi kind of like holds his hands, like, it's like, I know. And that's where we leave off with Neji realizing what he did and coming to grips with it. So I hope you enjoyed part one. Man, when the what ifs a topic is a character dying, we're going to get some emotional dark shit. I can only say I'm so good at doing that, but still, hey, I did the best I could. We're obviously getting a stronger variant of Naruto here. Not excessively strong. Not like when we had him have Ichimonji and just had him broken as all F. But a decently stronger Naruto. Like, he's got the Rasengan right now. He's got better control over the summoning jutsu. He can access the Fox's chakra when he needs to, like he already could. And Neji is now, he's been brought to the point where he should have been by that series, but by the canon. But also, he's now realizing, oh crap, I killed Hinata. And Hinata's dead. So we know, so for you people for the people out there who get a little discouraged that I continue to do Hinata and Naruto because that's how the story would normally play out, in my opinion, you're not going to get that. I have yet to determine who he might end up with. There's a lot of options for that. So we'll wait and see. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell when I'm notified. And I'll see you folks later.